You know, youth unemployment isn't just some headline you skim past. It's a huge global crisis. So today, we're going to dive into a really ambitious project that offers a potential solution, and it's all captured in this one powerful word, Elevate. This isn't just another program, you guys. It's a blueprint for change, and we're about to see exactly how it's supposed to work.
But seriously, how do you even start to tackle a problem this massive? A solution that works perfectly in one country might just completely fall flat in another. The real question is, what does it actually take to build a single framework that can work across continents, all the way from the job markets of Europe to the emerging economies in Africa?
Before we jump into the solution, we've got to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the problem. We're not just talking about some abstract economic statistics here. For millions and millions of young people, this is a deeply personal, generational crisis that can literally shape the entire course of their lives. Okay, let's take Serbia for example. Projections show that nearly 1 out of every 4 young people there will be unemployed. And the heart of the problem? It's this massive gap between the skills they're learning in school and what employers are actually looking for.
Now, in Kenya, the challenge looks a little different. Over there, it's not just about finding a job, it's about creating one. But starting a business is incredibly tough. Get this, a staggering 60% of businesses started by young people fail within just 3 years, usually because they don't have the right mentorship or market insights.
And then, in Uganda, you see these issues kind of collide. The education system is all about theory over practical, real-world skills, and at the same time, the economy just isn't creating enough new jobs. So it's this double whammy. A skills gap smacks right into a job gap, and it leaves so many young people with nowhere to turn.
This chart really lays it all out. You can see the super high unemployment rates in places like Serbia and Italy. But then you look at Austria, and its rate is way lower. Why? Well, a big part of it is their strong vocational training system. And that's the key here. Some models just work better. Project Elevate is all about sharing what works to lift everyone up.
So, we have this complex, tangled problem on our hands. What's the answer? Well, this brings us right to the heart of our story today, Project Elevate, and its fresh take on a very old challenge.
So Elevate, it actually stands for Empowering Youth for Employability and Entrepreneurship. And listen, this is not some short-term Band-Aid fix. No, it's a 24-month project with one big goal, to build a framework for success that will last long after the project itself is over.
So, what's the game plan? Well, it's not just about training young people directly. It's about making the whole support system stronger. You know, the youth workers and organizations that are on the ground with them every day. They're focusing on skills for the future, things like digital tools, green jobs, and entrepreneurship, and it's all built on a foundation of making sure everyone is included.
Now, a project this ambitious, well, you can't just do it in a silo. Its real power, its secret sauce, comes from its international partnership, a team that literally spans the globe.
This is a truly cross-continental team. Serbia is coordinating the whole thing, but they're bringing together partners from Kenya, Uganda, Austria, and Italy. And this mix is totally intentional. It combines the real, on-the-ground experience of countries facing the crisis head-on with the proven systems from countries that have found a better way forward. And this quote from their proposal, it just hits the nail on the head. It's all about collaboration. It's about sharing knowledge. The whole idea is to use the expertise from the EU partners to build powerful, modern training that can be tweaked and used wherever it's needed most.
Okay, so we know the what and the who, but what about the how? I mean, how does this amazing vision actually become a real, concrete plan of action?
Well, the whole thing boils down to a really clear 3-step process. First, you create the tools. Second, you put those tools into the hands of the people on the ground. And third, you make sure everyone hears about the results, far and wide. Simple, right?
So let's break down step 1. This is where the European partners really step up. You'll have experts gathering in Italy to hammer out training on digital skills, while over in Austria, the focus is going to be all on the green economy. They are quite literally writing the new playbooks for the future of work. And then we get to step 2. This is where the knowledge actually gets passed on. The project is going to run these multiplier workshops in Kenya, Uganda, and Serbia. And they're called multiplier for a reason. The goal isn't just to train 180 people. It's to equip those 180 people to then go back and train others in their own communities. That's how you take expertise from Europe, adapt it, and make it scale locally. But look, having a great plan is one thing, right? Proving it actually works, well, that's a whole other ballgame. So the final piece of this blueprint is all about accountability and measuring real, tangible impact.
Measuring that impact starts with a clear, direct number. The project is committing to directly train 180 people in its local workshops. That's their baseline, their core measurable goal for outreach.
But it's not just about hitting a number. It's about who is in that room. And as you can see from this chart, there's a serious commitment to inclusion, with specific targets set to make sure they have a diverse and representative group of participants.
And this focus on fairness goes even deeper. The project is specifically designed to recruit young people who are facing real barriers, from being isolated geographically to dealing with economic hardship. The message here is crystal clear. They aren't just training the easiest people to reach, they're going out of their way to find the ones who need this support the most.
And finally, the proof in the pudding is going to come from a huge impact assessment report. This won't just be a bunch of numbers on a page, it's going to combine the hard data with real personal feedback from the participants themselves to tell the full story of whether this project truly succeeded.
And that kind of brings us full circle. Elevate is so much more than a project, it's a promise. We've seen the blueprint, a plan designed not just to work in a couple of places, but to maybe, just maybe, serve as a model for the entire world. Which leaves us with the biggest question of all. If this blueprint works, how do we get it into the hands of everyone who needs it and truly, finally, elevate a generation?